All right, we are here today with David Stanoch from Minneapolis, the Twin Cities. And David's the author of a great book. It won the Modern Drummer Educational Book of the Year Award in 2009. And it's called Mastering the Tables of Time. Welcome, David.
Hi, Rob. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for taking the time today.
My pleasure.
So tell us about your book. I know it's, a lot of people love it. The comments I see online and the feedback we get at Hudson Digital has been tremendous. Tell me about why you wrote the book and kind of what separates it from the others.
Sure, thanks. I guess why I wrote the book is because I was just initially inspired by an interview I read with Tony Williams in Musician Magazine. It was not long before he passed away, so it had to be maybe early '97 or something like that. Just after his Wilderness album came out, he was promoting that, and I actually quote what he said in the book. So maybe I should find that and read it for you, because what he said just really struck a chord with me, and it set me off on this journey that took 10 years. Tony said in Musician, he said, it's all in time. Don't do things faster. Faster doesn't get you anywhere. You have to play in time, in context. Pick a meter and play it, double it, then triple it. Do it in eighth note triplets, 16th notes, 16th note triplets, 32nd notes, 32nd note triplets. Don't play arbitrarily faster or slower. It has to be in time. The goal is to play clearly. If you don't, you're not expressing yourself. You're not playing something that people can hear. When I first recorded myself, I realized you have to play things that are clear to you so that they will be clear to somebody else, And there were some examples in the article, and when I played them on my drums, it just kind of blew my mind, because I could see right away how it opened so many doors for, strengthening your internal clock and cleaning up your phrasing, or even making your phrasing more greasy. It can go either way, but you're just more locked in, and it really opens the doors to a lot of polyrhythmic possibilities that you can use, in a number of ways and in a number of styles, and in your timekeeping and in your solo phrasing as well.
So talk about some of the concepts. I know you get into rudiments, accents, dynamics. Tell us about, some of the main things that the book hits.
Sure. I've kind of codified the idea of the timetable, which some people call the rhythm scale, just so that there's different timetables for different purposes. I start with what I call the standard timetable, and I use like wordplay on time zones to name most of these things. And the idea of the standard timetable is that it focuses on the most common subdivisions we use in popular music, which are duple subdivisions and triple subdivisions. And so what you see is they move in families, from half notes all the way to 32nd notes. You've got half notes and half note triplets, same with quarter notes, eighths, sixteenths, and 32nds. And to be able to play down the scale, which I'll make sure I have a demonstration for you, and be able to play not only like from wide notes, like half notes, down to very small notes, like 32nd note triplets, but then in reverse, what I call round table, back to the beginning, in a retrograde kind of way, is really, really helpful for building up your internal clock and really learning how to control the space between beats, which has a lot to do with the feel. Because if you just think about the notes, there's a lot of tendency to rush, and if you just think about the space, there could be tendency to drag. If you're going from half notes to 32nd note triplets, our natural tendency is to get excited and rush. Using the table of time, working with a metronome, teaches you how to anticipate that, so that you get more grounded, your feel gets stronger, and you gain more self-confidence. Same thing if you're going from 32nd note triplets to half notes, the tendency would be to drag. So you find out where you drag, maybe when you're first playing through the thing, and then you anticipate it, you can work back and forth. And then, it's good to, and I have examples of this too, to move, more randomly or in different form combinations of subdivisions, because that's more akin to what's really going to happen when you're playing music. You're not always going from one to the other. You could be staying in one and adding a little here, or if you're playing a solo, anything goes, you know. But the idea is that you understand how the framework of the table of time enhances anything you do. And yes, the reason there's, you know, it says a comprehensive method to, drum set method to improve your groove, coordination, polyrhythmic, and soloing skills. And what I discovered in the 10 years that I took to write the book was that it was like anything that I threw at it, Rob, sticked, you know. So Tony had some phrases around the drums, and so I have phrases around the drums too. I remembered that Joe Morello had done some things with rudiments that I had seen in Modern Drummer, and so I went deeper into that. You know, I actually looked for this book once I got hip to the idea and started creating exercises just for myself. But, you know, I found that a true comprehensive method didn't exist. There were some great studies by Joe and also people like Gary Chafee, Pete Magadini. There's elements of it in Alan Dawson's Rudimental Ritual. My teachers, Marvin Dahlgren and Elliot Fine, dabbled in it in their book Accent on Accents. And so all of this inspired me. And I started to realize that because as drummers, you know, we all want everybody to keep time and play with a feel in the band, the people we play with. But ultimately, we're the ones who are judged by how strong our time is and how good we can make it feel. And so the more I dealt with this, the more I started to realize that it just made sense to take every area of discipline we study: accent control, dynamic control, rudiments, four-way coordination, polyrhythmic studies, applications to contemporary backbeat grooves and jazz grooves, which are in the book, and then solo phrasing. You know, some of it's rudimental based, some of it's linear, and some of it, you know, is just based on expanding rudimental ideas, and some of it's based on, you know, other kinds of phrasing. And you hear all of this in all of our favorite players drumming. You know, they understand this concept. And so it just made sense to take everything that I was working on as a drummer and filter it through the framework of the table of time, because in doing so, I found out real quick where my weaknesses were. And I was able to really, you know, like clean that up, hone that up, and then own it, and be able to go out and play, whether I have to play sequence music with a click or with tracks, or, you know, just the organic, I'm holding down the time and driving the bus on my own with any band I play with. I feel confident that, you know, my time is good and that I can offer it to the band and they can lean on it, and, you know, I can kind of get out of my own way and we can groove and play together.
So, you know, what would be great is if you could give us a couple of demonstrations, and I think I'd love to see you demonstrate that step down and then the step back up.
Okay, so here is a quarter note at 60 beats per minute, 1 beat per second, and we will use that to lock into as we play the standard timetable and round table form, so we can demonstrate for you the idea of this rhythm scale. I'll count along with you. Here we go. Ready, and half notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here's half note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 triplet, 2 quarter note triplets. Eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and eighth note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 sixteenths. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, 4 E and a 1 and 2. These are 16th note triplets. 30 seconds. 30-second triplet. Now back to 30 seconds. These are the 16th note triplets. 16th notes. 8th note triplets. 8th notes. Quarter note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Quarter notes. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, half note triplet, and half notes. Like that, okay? So, you know, working with the click, it's regimented, it's perfectly quantized. So just, you know, listen to it like you would any other member of the band. Don't be intimidated by that. You know, you can work step by step through these subdivisions, go back and forth between any two, you know, especially if you find you're rushing or dragging, you know, and then run the whole thing in sequence. And the more comfortable you get with it, the stronger your internal clock and your feel become, and you play with greater confidence. And that's what every other member of the band wants in their drummer, you know. So trust me when I tell you that, and a lot of great drummers who have checked it out back this up, this is not as simple as maybe it looks. Try it and you'll see what I mean. It's the foundation for all the creativity that comes after that in the book. Here's a taste of something else I'm applying the double stroke roll to. This is a different kind of long roll progression in what you might call, or at least I call, an abstract timetable. An abstract timetable being one that can kind of think outside the box of a standard timetable. This is kind of like what you might call a hemiola phrasing progression. There's two rates of speed, or better said, two different kinds of rhythms happening here. An even series of notes in any subdivision, and a shuffled series of notes in any subdivision. So, like a triplet feel, but then over the bar, like so. Now, if I play the double stroke between two different surfaces, like snare off, timbali, you know, I was influenced by Cuban drumming in particular, Afro-Cuban drumming, and the phrases that I hear great timbali players play, congueros. And so here's a taste of that. So many different ways to work these ideas creatively into grooves. Here's just one example. We'll take sort of a contemporary backbeat approach, kind of an R&B funk kind of an idea. This is based on an accent pattern that's a 3-note grouping. So like in 8th note triplets, you'd hear the accent on the downbeat. And then if it was the 16th note triplet, 1 and 2 and like that. But then it goes over the bar in the 8ths and the 16ths. So check it out. Here we go. So here's some 8th notes, right? Like so.
All right, great, thanks. So in wrapping up, I just wanted to mention how exciting I think the whole digital version is, because you just tap the icon and it's so much easier and user-friendly, really. You don't have to download a video or download an audio or put in a CD or DVD. It's right there, you know. I mean, it looks amazing on an iPad, or if you're on a laptop, you know, you just click the icon button and boom, it's right there for you. So that's what makes it exciting for me, is I think we've come up with something that actually, when you have a book with media like that, you know, really improves the experience, you know, for the person that's going through the book. So
I totally agree. You know, and in fact, that's really one of the very most exciting features about having the digital edition finally available 10 years after the release of the book. You know, just real quick, I mean, I self-published the book, and I had it in my head back in 2008 or so, when I was getting ready to launch it, that I wanted to have either a DVD or a CD to have examples, you know, that you could attach to the book like they did in those days for reference, so people could hear what's going on, because it is so important to be able to hear it, you know. I mean, and you know, I mean, I also want to attract people that may not read music yet, because they can benefit from this study too. And so what we have at Hudson, it offers that, you know. At the time, I took out a home equity loan to publish the book, and I couldn't find a way to keep the cost where I wanted it to and publish both the book and attach a disc. And so in those days, I had a conversation with a name you might be familiar with, Ben Sidran. You know, we all think of Steve Gadd's great recording with Ben Sidran on the Cat in the Hat. And Ben was somebody that I worked with and knew well from my college days in Madison, Wisconsin, where he lives. I gave his son drum lessons for a while and played some gigs with him. And he said, you know, just get it out online, you know. And so I did that, the free audio video companion with the book. And some people called that innovative at the time. And, you know, and that's still out there, but to be able to take it and streamline it per example, where you can just click on it and there it is in the Hudson edition, man, I love it. And I still take advantage of it, because I actually still practice out of the book all the time. And sometimes, even though I know what's on those tapes or videos or recordings, I still want to hear them. I might be sitting in my car waiting for the kids or something, and boom, you know. And you know, the great thing is you can do that with a lot of the books at Hudson. It's wonderful. Yeah. So it's a real advantage.
We're really glad that you joined the team, and again, it's a terrific book. I think it's beneficial for any drummer, really at any level, especially to strengthen, like David's described, you know, the whole time feel, and whether you want to play metronomic with loops and tracks and click tracks and so forth, or you want to just groove. I think the book helps on every level. So, David, thank you again. Hats off for a fine work. It obviously is a good work, because it stood the test of time here. No pun intended.
No, like, yeah. But Rob, I really appreciate that. And let me just say too that, I mean, you know, for all that you've given percussion through education for all these years, you know, it's not lost on me that I get to have a conversation with the guy that sat next to Steve Gadd and got him to answer all those questions all those years ago, because, man, I wore my first copy of that video out, man. And I think we all owe you a debt of gratitude, and it's my pleasure to be with you here today. It really is.
Likewise. Yeah, we had a good time back in the 20s, huh? All right, man. Listen, you be good. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, sir. All right. Stay healthy, everybody. Wash your hands. See you.
Too. Yeah. We'll get through it.
That's right.